On the side of a busy highway near Sussex, New Brunswick, Craig Parks scampers across a crumbling bluff, a geologist in pursuit of the future.
And that's what they're going after. That's the kind of shale that can host gas in it.
A handful of shale, remnants of the tropical forest that covered this valley 350 million years ago. It's incredible. You can still see
it's amazing, isn't it?
The bark and the leaves. The fossils are impressive, but it's a byproduct of all the rotting vegetation that Parks is looking for.
This material, it's still sticky, tacky, and when it's fresh, if you grab that and...
Oh boy, that's a really strong smell.
Really
smells like oil. In southern New Brunswick, oil doesn't gush from the ground, it drips from the rocks, and with it, natural gas, an estimated 67 trillion cubic feet.
That's very substantial, especially for the size of the province, for New Brunswick, and it could mean a lot. It is a fair amount of gas by longstanding.
Incredibly, you can actually see the oil oozing from between the layers of shale. This is a rock that could re-energize a province badly in need of money. This shale outcropping breaks the surface like an iceberg, but the bulk of it is hidden deep underground. A shale bed more than a kilometer thick, 4 times thicker than anywhere else in North America.
Absolutely, no question about it. If there is a discovery of that nature here, it will change this province forever to the positive. Let's go to the map here.
Tom Alexander's company, Texas-based Southwestern Energy, has already leased 2.5 million acres in its search for gas. The shale gale is blowing into New Brunswick, bringing with it the promise of jobs and wealth for a debt-ridden province. Companies are scouring the countryside here, their seismic trucks creeping along roadways, probing for signs of gas deep underground. Test wells have been drilled, but some residents are wondering, is it worth it?
The water is a key thing for us.
Jörg Van Waldo's dairy farm sits right on top of the shale. 500 milk cows, heavily dependent on fresh, clean water. Van Waldo wants no part of this gas grab.
Well, the worst case scenario would be that some water would be contaminated, or we have 20, 30 well sites in the valley, and it becomes an industrial nightmare. That's pretty well. We like the way we farm right now, without having wellheads around and gas pipelines going through everywhere.
For months, anti-shale protesters have been blocking roads, preventing exploration, and demanding a ban on shale gas drilling. Their target is hydraulic fracking, a method of coaxing gas from shale. Drillers sink a well through the water table and then deep underground, more than a kilometer to the shale bed. They drill sideways for up to 2 kilometers to expose more shale. The well bore is lined with cement, then a series of explosive charges blow through the cement, cracking or fracturing the surrounding shale. Millions of liters of water, sand, and chemicals are then pumped into the well under high pressure, widening the fractures and allowing trapped gas to escape. As the fracking fluid is drained, the gas flows for 10 to 15 years. When it stops, the well can be fracked again. It's a process that requires enormous quantities of water and a lot of faith in gas drilling technology. 4 years ago, northeastern Pennsylvania's Susquehanna County was much like rural New Brunswick, a failing economy, jobs in short supply. Then drillers tapped into the biggest shale deposit in the U.S. Now drilling rigs and gas wells dot the Blue Ridge Hills.
So far it looks good.
Jerry Wagner's farm looks out on 3 Southwestern Energy drill sites, and he couldn't be happier.
So far it's no trouble. The company is so good to us. I mean, they fixed all the roads here. Was terrible. They came in and redid all the roads for us and everything.
And they pay. Landowners here earn money leasing their land, and they get a share of gas royalties. Just up the road, Wagner's neighbor has also leased land to Southwestern. Joe Valentine's family has been dairy farming here for 3 generations. He's happy for the extra money, but he and his wife still wonder if they've made the right choice.
I think so. I think
we're gambling that we have.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's all a gamble. So, you know, we'll see what happens when the checks come, and we'll see what happens when they, you know, start fracking and see what the water looks like.
Drive through the county capital of Montrose, and the impact of the gas boom is inescapable. The industry is injecting $12 billion a year into Pennsylvania's economy.
All right, I'll have them go ahead and put a reservation on it then.
Shale gas has made this little town recession-proof, boosting Bill Kelly's sales and allowing him to double the staff at his equipment rental shop.
From my opinion, and again, I haven't been through an economic boom before, but this is as close to what I would envision it to be as can be.
Drill teams have sunk more than 2,400 wells across Pennsylvania this year. Another 10,000 are expected over the next 4 years. All that drilling and fracking means plenty of problems. Hundreds of environmental and safety infractions in Susquehanna County alone. Southwestern Energy has 74 gas wells in Pennsylvania. It is still a mid-sized player, but state reports show its environmental safety record is better than average. Folks along State Route 92 know all about Southwestern Energy. The company's oil platforms dot the landscape all around this valley. But 13 families on this road are suing Southwestern, alleging its shale gas drilling has contaminated their groundwater and made some of them sick. The company denies those charges, and the families tell us they're under strict lawyers' orders not to talk. Tom Alexander is Southwestern's Canadian general manager, but he's familiar with the details of the Pennsylvania lawsuit.
Well, the evidence that I've seen, and that case is still in discovery. So what I can tell you is that the elements that they have claimed that are in the fluids or in their wells are not chemicals or additives that we use in either the drilling or the completion process. They just simply are not.
Nowhere is the conflict over shale gas and clean water more apparent than Dimock, Pennsylvania. Pass through this rural township and you can't miss Craig Sautner's home.
So this is the water buffalo that they come and fill every day. Cabot Oil and Gas, they're ordered by a consent order to fill this, you know, give us the water because of all the contamination that we've had here. I don't know how many families that right now are getting the provided water right in this general area, but at one time it was up to 30-some families.
3 years ago, another company, Cabot Oil and Gas, drilled shale near Sautner's property. Within weeks, the family's well water was unusable.
I don't want to use that kind of water. Would you want to?
Contaminated with methane and a cocktail of chemicals Sautner blames on Cabot's drilling.
Drink that? My daughter would get in the shower in the morning, and she would get out and lay on the floor because she thought she was going to pass out because of the methane. What it does, I guess the methane sucks the oxygen out of the air, and she thought she was going to pass out.
Now the family stockpiles water in the garage, and Sautner spends his free time leading the charge against shale gas. It's a lonely fight in booming Pennsylvania.
The majority of the people want them here. I'd say probably 90% of the people want the gas industry here because they want the money. You know, it's all about the money. It all comes down to the money.
Money and jobs. Blackville, New Brunswick is at the heart of Southwestern's shale exploration zone. The lumber mill here is closed, its jobs gone for good. At the Nine Pine restaurant, local residents mull the future. Shale gas, says Alan Washburn, is this town's last best hope.
This is the brass ring that's being handed to us now because our logging industry is gone.
David Donahue, a veteran of Alberta's gas fields, agrees.
I've seen the prosperity that they have out west in natural gas, and people are worried about, like I said earlier, about buying a second house at age 30 and not worrying about getting their unemployment stamps and if they're going to make it through the winter and get it, you know.
Folks here understand the risks that come with shale gas, but in a town where even this restaurant is shutting down, it's an opportunity they feel they can't afford to ignore. Harry Forrestel, CBC News, Blackville, New Brunswick.